In this video, I'm going to tell you all the receivers you need to start this week in fantasy to dominate and which ones you need to sit and leave on the bench. Let's go. First guy you need to start this week representing the Arizona Cardinals, Hollywood Brown. Now, Hollywood Brown comes over from Baltimore in a trade to Arizona this offseason. Deep Hop is out for 6 games, so you're looking at your primary target guy here. I'm expecting a high-scoring game against the Chiefs. That secondary hasn't been too stout lately. Expect a high-scoring game from Hollywood. Next on the list, down in New Orleans, Mike Thomas. Now, Mike Thomas has been out for the past 2 years, basically. So I know he's itching to get out here and play these guys, especially the Falcons, who've given up 38 points to receivers in fantasy per game last year. I don't really see that changing. Expect Mike Thomas to have a Mike Thomas type game, especially with J-Bo back there slinging that rock. You're probably going to end up with at least 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Start Mike Thomas this week. Next up on the list, Gabe Davis. Now, you might remember Gabe Davis from his playoff game against the Kansas City Chiefs when he scored a playoff record, 4 touchdowns. High expectations for this guy. And with Diggs getting checked by Jalen Ramsey pretty much the entire night, somebody's got to take over those targets. I'm thinking that all pretty much going to be going into this guy right here. I'm expecting a big game from him. Next guy you need to have in your lineup this week, Rashad Bateman. And with Hollywood Brown gone, Rashad Bateman pretty much becomes the #1 target in Baltimore. Now, they're run heavy, but Lamar likes his guys. One of the guys he likes, Mark Andrews. The other guy he likes, Rashad Bateman. Now, the Jets, the Jets is going to be the Jets, bro. I'm expecting a high-scoring game with that one, with pretty much Baltimore doing all the scoring. Some of that's going to be Rashad Bateman. Put Rashad Bateman in your lineups this week. Next guy you need to start this week in fantasy, Adam Thielen. Thielen's pretty much been a touchdown monster the last couple years, even with missing time. I know Justin Jefferson is out there, but with them doubling him and bracketing coverage towards him, somebody else is going to have to step up and take those targets he can't get. Adam Thielen has had over 22 points 2 of the last 3 times he's played Green Bay. He generally has a good game against those guys. Start Adam Thielen this week. Now, moving right along to the guys that need to sit on the bench by the coach. First up on the list this week, Amari Cooper. Now, with Deshaun Watson being out the first 11 games this year, they're going to Jacoby Brissett, and we're talking about a major talent difference. Cleveland's pretty much been a run-heavy offense anyways. I don't really see the purpose of even touching Amari Cooper this week. Keep him on the bench. Next guy to sit on the pine this week, Tyler Lockett. This one is pretty much self-explanatory. Seattle is not good. Geno Smith is their quarterback. And I'll say this again, Geno Smith is their quarterback. I don't see Tyler Lockett having a good game at all. To be honest, they may even take him out of the game once this one turns into a blowout that pretty much everybody's expecting. Sit Tyler Lockett on that bench. Next up, sitting on the pine next to those guys, Robert Woods. Now, Robert Woods comes to Tennessee after leaving the LA Rams last year. My guy tore his ACL, so he's been pretty much rehabbing all offseason. So you're coming off of an injury, and on top of that, he's in a run-heavy offense now. Yeah, sit him on the bench, let him rest that knee a little bit longer. See you next week. Now, next on the list, but definitely enough space for him on this bench, Chase Claypool. 2 things at work here. For starters, Mitch Trubisky is his quarterback. So keep that in mind all season when you think about Chase Claypool. Mitch Trubisky is his quarterback. Then on top of that, you got guys like George Pickens and Deontay Johnson taking targets from him. I think Chase Claypool was probably the 3rd receiver in that target list. It's not worth it. Start him this week. Sit him on the bench. There you have it. Those are the guys you need to start this week and the guys you need to take out of your lineup. Set your lineups. Dominate fantasy this week. See me in the next video.